To learn the good, the bad, and the reality of the off-grid lifestyle, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Things have been going really fantastic for Carolyn and me. Living here on our little piece of acre and a half of paradise. While this whole pandemic is going on, Carolyn and I are really kind of independent people. We're pretty much socially distant as it is. There's not been anybody living on this property for years. I would say probably the 70s. 1970s is my guess. Just the stuff that you find as we clean things up, we just find more and more. And there's all kinds of metal back here that I'm gonna be able to recycle. Might even get some money out of it. Gotta be careful. We're getting ready to get into copperhead season. And I'm not a big fan of copperheads, and I don't think copperhead's a big fan of me either. So we'll probably wait until the winter before we tear into this little spot here. I got all this here cleaned up. Looking really good right around our camper area. Last night, I wanted to work on my solar panels a little bit more. One of the big concerns is I got to have an easement for the utility company, because right here is a utility line. Obviously, they got to be able to get through. Now they have an easement. They can get in here, no problem. Plenty of wide open space for them to get around. But I don't want to cause any issues, so my solar panels are in the spot that a lot of people feel like they need to be able to get through. Well, I don't have no intentions of moving my solar panels. Well, that's not entirely true. There are times I want my solar panels right here. So I knew it was going to have to build a frame. Originally, I had this sectioned out. I had 4 panels, back here a little bit, 4 panels here. And I was going to have to move each panel individually, and I would have to disconnect the wiring. And it was just going to be a big pain. So I built this frame last night, got it where Carolyn and I can pick it up. That's easier said than done. I mean, I knew it was going to be heavy. It's 128 pounds. Each panel is 16 pounds. Now imagine this. If you got that many panels on your van or pickup truck or truck camper, that's a lot of weight. I mean, that's several buckets of water that you're going to want to have. That's one of the reasons I never had solar panels, because of the weight. If worse come to worse, Carolyn and I could get on each side and pick it up and move it over, into this area here so the utility company get through. Like I said, I don't think that's going to be an issue. When we first got here, this was the perfect spot for the solar panels. Well, here it is 10 o'clock and you can still see it's kind of shaded. The problem is tonight, if I were to move them up here permanently, tonight, this spot up here would be shaded. I would like to be able to easily move it. I might put it on wheels so I don't have to ask Carolyn to pick it up. I mean, she's got a bad back, and it would have to be an emergency for me to really want her to pick it up. Now, I've been asked quite a few questions, and I try to answer the questions as often as I can. And I just can't get over how many people are concerned about my well. I mean, I grew up on well water. Well water is just kind of a thing for me, so I guess I don't see all the concern, but I bet daily I get a dozen, 2 dozen comments of people telling me that the well is just too dangerous to use. And I've tried to explain everything I can about it and how I'm not concerned about the well. We have the Berkey, and do your own research on the Berkey. The Berkey does a fantastic job. And so all our drinking water goes through the Berkey, and then we chlorinate the water. We use bleach to chlorinate the water that comes in out of the well. And I'm going to go through this real quick with you so I can show you how it all works. Now, the IBC tank we're hanging clothes on right now, so ignore the mess, but we did laundry with the water. All right, so what I got to do is start the generator. Okay, once the generator is started, then I got this flap on my generator to keep the rain off. That's Courthouse. I use Courthouse for everything. Courthouse is also on the camper. So Courthouse is an amazing tool. So I'm just going to plug this in. And now the well is running. I'm going to walk right over here to the bucket. And I've already started filling this bucket, but you can see how clean that water is. Okay, so the water is really, really clean. Now, I've had some issues with it, I'll be honest. I had to figure out how to get the well capped. I use a Folgers can because right now we're in this pandemic and the hardware stores are closed. What we do is we put the water in this IBC tank. But before I put it in there, I do two things. One, I chlorinate it. And chlorinating is not hard. And I don't tell you how much bleach to put in because I want you to do your own research. But if you go to the CDC or the Food and Drug Administration, just type in Google, how much bleach do you put in your water? And it will tell you how much bleach to put in per gallon of water. You can go get Clorox bleach. It even tells you what percentage of sodium hypochlorite should be in it. It should be anywhere from 6 to 10%. Carolyn found some better bleach called chlorinated liquid. And we've been really trying to figure out where we can get the 10%. But right here, Pool Essentials, and it has 10% of that sodium hypochlorite, which is what you're supposed to have, 6 to 10%. We use the recommended amount and we put it in here. As the water is coming out of that black pipe that you saw, we filter it with one of these. This is just a standard house filter. So the water comes out crystal clear. That container holds one of these filters. They're a charcoal filter, it's a paper filter. They're not designed to take out bacteria and all that. That is what the Berkey is for. The Berkey is designed to take out chlorine and lead and mercury and nitrites and on and on and on. The list is just so long. I mean, it's on the box of the Berkey, how many things it takes out. I do a little pre-filter with this as it goes into the IBC tank. And then, before I put it in the Berkey, I filter the IBC tank water one more time through a cleaner filter. You know, I have a newer filter. These are older filters. So it gets a double filtration and then goes through the Berkey. So the water's coming out perfectly clear. And I have no concerns that Carolyn and I would ever get sick from the well water. Garden, everybody wants me to start a garden. Well, there's a couple things about the garden that I'm just not ready for. You know, we just got here and I got tons of work to do. To maintain a garden every day, which I feel like you have to maintain a garden every day. Water it, weed it, you know, the whole thing. It's going to take a lot of effort that I don't have time for right now because I got to clean up that big mess so we can start building our tiny house. I also don't want to spend money on a lot of equipment. You know, I got to get a tiller. Again, I would rather spend the money on the tiny house this year. However, Carolyn did start a few seeds. And so she's got a few seeds. She's going to start a few more seeds. And they're already, you know, starting to come out of the soil. Doing really well. There's beans right there. There's tomatoes right there. You're starting to get some sprouts out of the tomatoes. Cucumbers are not sprouting yet. What's this? This looks, oh, that's more beans. So we're starting to get some sprouts and we just planted them just a few days ago. So, and what we'll do is we'll just dig some holes. The other thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put fencing around it also so the rabbits won't eat it and the deer. So I got to work all that out. So there's a lot to do, and I'm just not prepared to do a full-size garden. My goal is to get a lot of corn next year. I want a lot of corn so we can can it, get a pressure canner. I love pressure canning tomatoes and corn. That's just my big thing. So a lot of folks have been concerned that I don't have a mailbox. And no, I don't have a mailbox. I intend to get a mailbox, but I don't have a mailbox yet. And we were going to get a mailbox. I was going to go to the hardware store. I was going to buy a mailbox. I was going to put it up here by the truck. And I just waited too long. And then the pandemic struck. In order to get an address, I got to go to the courthouse. Now, it's just the way it is. You got to go to the courthouse. A lot of people say, oh, no, you got to go to the 911 call center. No, you got to go to the post office. Nope, got to go to the courthouse. Well, the courthouse is closed. They closed it for the pandemic. Yes, I know there's 1,000 things that need to be done. You know, we just got here, just over a month ago? And I get it, there's a lot that needs to be done. But we're gonna have to take it in steps. Yes, I know I can't get Amazon or packages through FedEx or UPS. I'm just gonna have to wait. This is what the pandemic is. We're just gonna have to get through it. Okay, another question other than the well that I get regularly, several times a day, is why am I building slow? What I have said is I'm going to spend $500 a month to build my tiny house. I'm going to treat it like rent. Several people have suggested that what I should do is just save the money, and then when I'm ready to go out and buy the materials, just go out and buy everything. I'm not a master carpenter. I'm a novice. My dad has built 2 houses in his lifetime. I do understand how to build things, but I need to work slow so I can get advice from my dad on how to do the certain steps And you know, he's drawn out the roof rafters. He's already drawn that out for me and show me all the angles that I needed. So those are the things that I want to make sure I go real slow. I'm trying to build this thing for $5,000. I know I can do it. I've already priced a lot of things. But you got to watch out for the sales. If I decide, okay, next month I'm going to buy 2x4s and plywood and insulation, I can start watching out for sales. I can go to restock shops. And instead of buying a 2x4, say, you know, $3, if I can buy it for $1.50 and I can come in under $5,000, then I can use that money for other things. Thanks for watching.